Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Code Ordinance Enforcement Board for July the 8th, 2025. At this time, we'd like to ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Rodney Davis.
Here.
James Bruce.
Here.
Tyler Young. Tony Meacham.
Here.
David Howell.
Here.
Calvin Brooks. Connie McGahee. Here. Mark Graham.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. At this time, would everyone please stand with me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Next on our agenda is approval of the minutes from our last meeting on June the 10th, 2025. Board members received a copy of those minutes in the mail, and at this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, let me know by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, are there any reports from the fire department staff? None? Okay. All right, next we have public hearings. We have two cases on our agenda tonight. Excuse me. And, but before we get into those cases, I'm going to read some procedures we're going to follow. Okay, so bear with me as I do that. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rodney Davis. I am the chairman of the City of Hopkinsville Code Ordinance Enforcement Board. The purpose of this board is to protect, promote, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens residing within the City of Hopkinsville. If a board member perceives a potential conflict with hearing a case, he or she shall recuse themselves from the case and will not discuss their disposition. When your name is called, please come forward. Speak loudly and clearly because we are required to record all proceedings from these hearings. You are here tonight because you received the citation and chose to appear before the board instead of paying the fine imposed on the citation. You have the right to confront and cross-examine any witnesses that might appear here against you. You have the right to call your own witnesses to testify on your behalf and to introduce any physical evidence you feel pertinent to this case. You have the right to have an attorney. If you wish to hire one to represent you, let me know and I will request the board postpone your case to enable you to do so. I have the right as chairman of the board to limit the amount of testimony which is presented. That shall be done when I determine that certain testimony is irrelevant or is repetitive. This is not the same as a court of law, and legal rules of evidence do not have to be followed. This is similar to an administrative hearing, and the requirements for the introduction of evidence are not as stringent as in a court of law, but they are nonetheless just as important to ensure a just decision. You shall be afforded all rights which are of fundamental importance to comply with due process standards of fairness and justice. The burden of establishing a violation occurred rests with the city. If the city cannot prove a violation took place, no fine or remedial measures may be imposed. After all the evidence and testimony have been introduced and the hearing has been closed, the board will make a decision. The board will decide whether or not a violation of a local ordinance has been committed. If the board determines no violation was committed, then this board will enter an order dismissing the citation. If the board determines that a violation did take place, the board will enter an order upholding the citation and will order you to pay a fine in an amount up to the maximum authorized by ordinance and may order you to remedy the violation within a specified period of time. In cases involving unsafe structures, the board, as part of its decision and written order, may additionally make a provision for the offender to cure the violation within a period of time not to exceed 90 days, pursuant to HCO 33.188F. except in cases of default. Any final order issued by the board may be appealed to the Christian District Court. The appeal must be filed no later than 30 days from the date the board issues its final order. The case in front of the Christian District Court will be limited to a review of the record created before this board. If you have any questions at this time, please feel free to ask. Okay, no questions? All right, so we're going to move to our first case. This code officer is Mr. Mark DeArmond. This case number CE BPM 25-05-006. Not sure if I'm going to get this name right. Arthur Cabon? Is he here? Do you know if he's, okay, he's not present, okay. All right, okay, Mr. DeArmond, you want to come on up and so you can tell us about this case? Okay, before you begin, let me swear you in. Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say I do.
I do.
Okay, can you please state your full name, employer, and position for the record?
Mark DeArmond, Code Enforcement Officer with the Hopkinsville Fire Department.
Okay, Mr. DeArmond, tell us about this case, first case on our agenda.
203 West 19th Street is on the corner of West 19th and Bethel. It's catty-cornered from the hospital. If you look up in the upper left-hand corner, the hospital is up in that vicinity. This case came to us from the internet entry of a complaint of several broken windows in the house. So this is the Google map dated 2023. The PVA records indicate that Arturo Cabon is the way I understand it's pronounced, but if folks will allow me, I'll call him Mr. C so I don't butcher his name any worse throughout the presentation.
Okay.
Mr. C does live in Antioch, Tennessee, and is not local. The complaint came in on May 14th. The inspection started on May 15th. I did find several windows broken, but the door on the right is on the right front corner of the structure. It's obviously unsecured, damaged, and allowed the interior inspection to occur. What I found inside looked to be a combination of lack of upkeep, some wall damage and deterioration, and there's a good chance there had been some attempt at renovations. Throughout some of these photos, we'll see that it looks to be material stripped off, and the wall studs are there, but it's undetermined whether it was under renovation or neglect or with all the windows broken, trespassers in. The back side of the home is on the left. You see some wall damage and wall deterioration, and yes, that's a bucket on top of the roof in a left corner of roof sealant. And then they had a storage shed as accessory structure in the backyard with limited damage. The storage shed was locked, was not able to see what was inside. So following the inspection and completing of the unsafe structure checklist, it did meet the unsafe structure criteria, so the notice of violation for an unsafe structure was issued on May 16th. No response from the property owners at that point. Their due date was, I think, May 25th. We delayed it to June 2nd and issued a citation for an unsafe structure. This illustrates that this hearing was advertised and posted in the local paper. The property owner received certified mail and regular mail for the NOV and the citation. All were returned. Once again, the complaint was received through the internet system on May 14th. Initial inspection was on the 15th. Notice of violation issued on the 16th of May. Citation was issued on June the 2nd. On June the 6th, I get a call from Mr. Cesar Martinez. Mr. C does not speak English and doesn't, and wasn't able to communicate. This is a friend, a relative, a neighbor, some arrangement with Mr. C, and he called on his behalf saying that they just got notified by someone finding the citation posted at the house of this condition and wanted to come and talk about it. So on the following day, on June the 6th, Mr. C and Mr. Martinez came to the office, and we talked about the conditions of the structure, what has occurred since the complaint was issued, and they wanted to see what their options were. During that conversation, we talked about the typical steps of, now that it's already into a citation status, it'd be coming for the board, that if they had the opportunity to cure, to repair the conditions, and I wasn't so sure that they'd seen the house at the time, but they had some serious indications that they wanted to repair it. I gave them the list that we prepared for the 7 steps for curing the citation. They took that with them. On the 19th, we started sharing emails that they had made the decision to make the repairs, and that it would take an itemized list, scope of work, and so forth to make those happen. And on the 20th, we confirmed that conversation, and on the 25th, I get by email an estimate for the repairs. That's the 7 points of curing the violation that I handed them on the meeting in the office, and there's their scope of work and their estimate.
Would you, I'm sorry, go back to that document, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is the estimate that I received. The scope of work does include the items that I'll show you in the checklist. They've got a timeline on starting June 25th and complete August the 4th. They have been working on this for at least the last 2 weeks, as I've been doing periodic drive-bys of this house, so activities have already begun. The water was disconnected in December 2022, electric February 23, gas was November 2024. This just illustrates the checklist, where the checklist is located per the city ordinance. The exterior walls had areas of damage, both from rot and missing vinyl siding. This is but some examples of the windows broken. I failed to count the windows, but I suspect 90–95% of all windows, if not 100% of them, were broken. The door, as we showed earlier, was not secured and allowed us to go in and do the inside inspection. Another example of broken windows. Here's some more illustrations of the possibilities. Is it stripping and getting ready to renovate? Is it water damage and other stains from lack of maintenance? But the walls and the ceiling, in this case on the bottom, the lower left, the left photo in that corner, that is a significant drop in the floor. The one on the right behind the sink is the OSB subflooring with holes and water damage and soft spots from water damage and rot that's accumulated. And this is in the back of the house. Walls and ceiling damage, again, be it from one or the other. The photo on the right is more damage than what appears to be taken down and stripped down to be repaired, particularly the walls. 2 electrical boxes side by side. The one on the right is missing some breaker switches, the circuit breakers themselves. One on the left looks to be a replacement, as if they're pulling new wire in what may have been in times past a rewiring situation. However, the electricity has been off for 2 years, so with the damage inside, it's really uncertain whether recent renovations. And during our discussions with the property owner and his representative, they could not tell me when any renovations had taken place. So it's just a speculation on my part. Photo on the right shows the meter box with a missing meter that's been pulled. Gas meter is still in place, been disconnected some 8 months. Plumbing fixtures are in place, but doubtful that they're working. That including the hot water heater. Again, some more damage to the floors. So the checklist, exterior, the walls, windows, and the door and the skewer are the items in violation. 3 out of 7, or 43%. Interior, all of the interior part, again, allowed to be able to go in, it was unsecure. The walls, the floors, and the ceilings was illustrated. The electrical outlets were either missing, not covered, or several examples of exposed wires throughout the structure. Single story, so no stairway. The electric meter had been pulled. The structure had some missing breaker switches in the first box. The gas meter was still in place. Plumbing does appear inoperable based upon the features that were there, but the fixtures were there, including the hot water heater. 8 out of 10, or 80% for the interior. The accessory structure, the roof was fine. There was a limited damage to the exterior wall with a missing siding. I selected yes on the owner has allowed the structure to become a nuisance, primarily because of the broken windows and not board them up or otherwise trying to fix them, and the damaged door where somebody had jammed the door to break in. And the conditions that exist could be dangerous to health to the area, health or safety. A lot of glass, open, unsecured doors in the area of the hospital and other neighborhoods, so I felt that was a bit of a risk. Overall, 11 out of 17, or 65%. They've had 2 tall grass cases, one last year and one this year. Taxes are current. The liens are only $564.70. This morning, this is an example of what's going on. They're stripping the interior. I've seen different crews there, different days. I probably have made 3 drive-bys in the last 2 weeks, just seeing if, in fact, they are doing something. Before I get to the questions, I'd like to make a suggestion, or at least a consideration, if you're with all due respect, that these folks have been very cooperative. Efforts have already started, but I think their timeline is a little aggressive. To complete the work that they've got to have it completed by their deadline of August the 4th, I think is a little tight. Should you all agree that they are making progress and can give them some time, I'd respect you think about giving them a little extra time than August the 4th. That's a pretty tight construction schedule. Now, any questions?
Okay.
So they came up, they saw you, they looked at the 7 steps. They got a company in out of Nashville that gave you a list of what they're doing, and it's my understanding they're following the checklist.
Yes, sir. At this stage, we will monitor it as it goes. Right now, it's in a stripping form, ripping out the damaged stage. Once they start inside, we'll be watching them.
Okay. So, thank you.
Yes.
So they pulled all their proper permits and all that kind of stuff is
It's in-
square? Okay.
It's part of that. It's part of the checklist, and it's part of in the scope of work that they will, where it's required, and the electrical and the plumbing will require that. Structurally, there is no issues that'll have to have it. It's just those 2 items.
What's the date that they were projecting completion again?
August 4th,
August the 4th?
less than a month.
And they began work on, when do you think they began?
I'm guessing it's been at least a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks.
So late June, early
Yes.
July?
Am I correct that the clock would start when we uphold the violation? So today?
If you so find that it's an unsafe structure, they would have 90 days, up to 90 days from today.
Correct. Thank you. I don't have any more questions.
Any other questions
No, sir.
from Mr. DeArmond, from board members? Okay, all right, thank you, sir. Okay, we're going to close the hearing on this case so the board can deliberate in open session. We first need to determine whether or not a violation exists for this case. And so the floor is open for discussion or to entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, based on the testimony, I feel that there is the violation on this matter in the case. It is an unsafe structure, but based on the work that they're doing, I'd like to go ahead and find that there is a violation, but give them the 90-day from today. And that gives them, as long as they follow the 7 steps that the city puts forth on that.
Okay, so we need to take those in 2 separate
Okay. So I move that
First,
there is a violation.
violations. Okay.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and probably seconded that a violation does exist for this, on this case. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, no matter sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, so now we need to discuss the penalty or the remedy for this violation. The fine ranges from $350 to $700,
How much is?
plus the $200 administration fee.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we assess the minimum fine, $350, $200 administrative fee, and give the owner 90 days from today to complete the 7 steps. That's well within his timeline, and so he's not going to be pushed by us, but the city, as long as he keeps working with the city, he should have this thing up and that house be rented out soon.
For clarification, does that motion include the accessory structure as well?
Yes.
Second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and probably second. Any questions on the motion?
Just a statement that it's refreshing to see this sort of outcome. We don't always see the renovation happen.
Yes, it is. It very is. And it's, we don't want to see structures in our city just torn down one after another. We want to see what can be preserved, so. Okay, if there's no other questions on the motion, all in favor, let me know by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, okay, thank you. Okay, we go to our next case on the agenda, Mr. West. This case number is CE BPM -25-05-008. Walter E. South Jr., care of Nova Soprazo. Is Walter South Jr. present? They not present, okay. All right, okay. Okay, Mr. West, let me first swear you in. You raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say I do.
I do.
Okay, can you please state your full name, position, and employer and position for the record?
Yes, sir. My name is Darnell West. I work for Hopkinsville Fire Department as a code enforcement officer.
Okay, Mr. West, tell us about this next case on our agenda.
Yes, sir. So this is a unsafe structure on 821 East 18th Street. This was a complaint that was received. I think this was a call-in about being an eyesore to the neighborhood. The house was inspected after a tree had fallen in the street in front of this house, and it definitely, at that time, appeared to be an unsafe structure. This is a Google Street View of the house from July of '23. This is where the property sits on 18th Street with the yellow pin in the parcel, and on the right-hand side is the parcel information. This is a front view of the house, right side, left side, and the back side of the structure. Utility termination dates, the water was cut off in February of '25. The electric was cut off in March of '25, and the gas was cut off in October of '24. This is where we pull our unsafe structure checklist. And as far as the checklist goes, the first item would be foundation. And there's definitely cracks in the foundation and in the mortar joints. There's also areas in the back of the house, if you look on the right-hand side, where the foundation is completely gone. Item number 2 would be exterior walls, and this was just a couple of small spots on the back of the house, and this on the left-hand side is on the side where the siding was missing and or was rotted out. This is the front porch, and you can see that nice size hole where they tried to, I guess, kind of cover it up with that piece of plywood right there. Handrails were not required, so this was a non-applicable item. The roof definitely has some damage. As you can see on the left-hand picture, shingles are missing, also with damage to the roof, and the right-hand picture closest to us is definitely damaged, but up at the top of the right-hand picture, you can see the discoloration of the shingles, missing shingles, and so forth. The chimney was in solid shape, so we did not count that against them. There were broken windows on the structure as well. The door, the back door, was not secure. This was how we were able to gain access inside of the structure. There was no trash on the property, so we did not count that one against them. And the home was not a mobile home, so that was a not applicable item. As stated earlier, the interior was accessible due to the back door being wide open. The interior walls were in solid shape, so we did not count that item against them. However, this is the bathroom floor, and we tried to put this board down just so you can kind of get an understanding of the slope that was in there. This is the picture on the left is that's the entranceway. It's just, you can see the hole. I mean, you can see the ground through the floor there. And the picture on the right-hand side is just a nice size gap in the transition from whichever room that was to the next room. So those were items that we definitely counted against them. This is not something that I counted against them. I'm thinking this is an unfinished back porch, but there was up at the top the exposed wires. I mean, that looks fairly new, so I'm leaning toward an unfinished back porch, but I'm not too totally sure on that. Ceilings. This on the right-hand side, this is where you can see where, I guess, moisture, water is starting to come through. There's definitely a leak in the ceiling there. And in the back, this is in the kitchen. The ceiling is totally just busted. I mean, it's fell in, and you can see it for yourself. This was a one-story house, so item number 16 was not applicable. Number 17, the structure did not have an electric meter. 18, this is the breaker box, and as you can tell, down at the bottom, it appears that there are some breakers missing, but it is wide open without the proper covering, so we did count this one against them as well. Gas meter has been removed. The plumbing, we went with appears inoperable because they haven't had water since the beginning of the year. Picture on the left shows you a toilet in what I would think was a living room at one point. And as you can see, the arrow right under the window showing you where they vented that toilet out of. Picture on the right is just that kitchen area. It's full of dishes. I don't know if they was lazy, if the water just wasn't working, but yeah. They had a tankless hot water heater, so we did not count it against them. Accessory structure. There actually is an accessory structure on the property, but because of all of the overgrowth around it, I was not able to do a thorough inspection on it. But it did look like it was in fairly decent shape. These next couple of pictures is just additional pictures. They really didn't fit anything on the checklist, but I thought it was important for you guys to kind of see what myself and Deputy Chief Civils was looking at when we did an inspection on the 21st of May. Don't know if that's considered a hoarder or not, but I mean, that's a lot of stuff inside the house. Picture on the left is the bedroom. Both pictures are of the bedroom, but that picture on the right shows you a little animal matter on the bed. So it's no telling how long this place has been empty like this and what type of animals was in there waiting to get a piece of me and Chad. As you can tell on the right, on the left-hand side, they were definitely animal lovers. I don't know what type of animals they had inside of there. Thank the Lord, they weren't any in there. And the picture on the right, quick story, I may or may not share with you guys that octopus may or may not have scared the bejesus out of one of two inspectors inside of that house that day.
Nice ladder.
All right, so as far as the checklist goes, for the exterior, we scored that 6 out of 8 on the exterior. On the interior, we scored that a 7 out of 10 for a grand total of 13 out of 18 for a score of 72%. Which meets well over our 51% of applicable items on the checklist. The NOV was posted on, May 29th on the front porch, and the citation was posted about a month after, on June 16th. That, as you can tell, that front door is open, so I'm not sure if somebody is accessing that or getting inside the house or not, but I'm more than positive when me and Chad left that day that we had that door closed. So, as of today, nothing has changed. Both postings are still on the front porch, and this is just kind of a reminder to myself that the grass is overgrown, so I'm gonna get a case started on it as well. This is showing you where the structure was posted, or the property was posted in the Kentucky New Era. My timeline is simple. I have not had any communication with the property owners. Nobody has reached out to me. No work has been done. So, brung before you guys today. There was no previous cases or case history on this property as far as we can tell, and all we know as far as in taxes is that they haven't paid the 24 taxes, which was $23.79. Any questions?
Okay. A couple. There was looked like a camper or something. Is that on that property? Or is that a
Yeah,
neighbor's?
kind of. So, this, well, it's right there on the left-hand side. I'm not sure if it belongs to them or not. There is a neighbor to the left of them. There is a small, I guess, driveway right there, and in the back of that is where the shed is located as well. I'm not too totally sure that the camper belongs to them or not, but yeah, I think best case scenario, I can go and knock on the door of the neighbor and see if it belongs to them or not, and if so, I can have them remove it, because if in fact you guys do deem this an unsafe structure, I want that and the accessory structure torn down, and I don't want this guy's camper taken with it, if that is his. But I mean, if it belongs to this house, then so be it.
Now, there's also a for sale sign on the front of the house. Was there a telephone number or something that says for sale by, it looks like for sale by owner?
No, sorry, it was empty. It was, I mean, it's been, let me see if I can find another picture for you, but if there was something on there at one point, it was, yeah, you can't zoom in on it, but yeah, no, it
I mean, there wasn't a number like, you know,
No, sir.
call somebody that you can just pick up the phone and say, hey, what's going on?
Not. If you look on the picture on the left, I mean, you can't really tell, but it's fairly empty. There really, nothing was written on there.
Are the homeless staying in, or do you think people are staying in it?
I do think somebody, like I stated earlier, I do think somebody is possibly accessing the inside of the home. When me and Chad left that house back in May, that front door was closed. That's how we left, and we definitely left out of the front door, closing the front door behind us. So as you can tell, with that front door being cracked like that, I definitely think somebody is getting inside of it. I don't know if anybody is staying in there or not. I did not go back inside after the initial inspection, so, but I do think somebody is accessing.
City wanting us to put like emergency tear down on this thing because of the possibility of people staying in it, or to just let it go through natural channels?
I don't think this will be an emergency. Nah, just normal channels.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from board members?
Do you know if that camper had a tag on it? Most of those are supposed to be licensed.
It is, and actually, it's supposed to be behind the front line of the front of the house, but campers aren't necessarily our wheelhouse. That's something that CDS is supposed to be handling.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to close the hearing on this case so we can deliberate in open session. The board, we need to determine, first of all, whether a violation existed by a motion and a second, or the floor is open for discussion.
I'll make a motion to declare the structure unsafe.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And now, the penalty, fine ranges from $350 minimum to $700 maximum, and a $200 administrative fee. So the floor is open for discussion, or entertain a motion regarding the penalty and abatement of the property, what the wishes we have for abatement.
I'll make a motion that we assess the $350 fine plus $200 administration fee, have the city tear it down, including the accessory structure.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, let it know by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right. Okay, we're going to move on our agenda. Okay, next we got unfinished business other than hearings. There's none. New business other than hearings. Okay, so we have on item number 8, we have 8A, which is the order to dismiss citation. And Mr. West, you want to tell us about that first citation?
Yes, sir. So real quick, it was just a matter of wrong property owner information, the citation, whom the citation went to. So we need to pretty much just dismiss it because the vehicle has already been removed, so.
Okay. All right, Board, you've heard the testimony of Mr. West regarding agenda item 880, order to dismiss. We can entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we dismiss the citation in section 8A.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, let it know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, then we have some default final orders. So, Mr. West, before we entertain a motion on those, can you tell us about the procedures followed for the citations regarding default final orders?
Yes, sir. So for each one of these cases tonight, we either received a complaint or found them doing proactive duty. For each non-repeat offender or neglected property, a notice of violation was sent, allowing the property owner 10 days to fix the problem or to contact and access for more time. If neither was done after the 10 days was up, a second inspection was performed, and a citation was issued for each one that was still in violation, and then brought before you guys tonight.
Okay, and were the procedures mandated by Chapter 33 of the Hopkinsville Code Ordinance followed in the cases tonight?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so on our agenda for agenda items 8B through 8I, B through I are default final orders. The violation is listed, the fine is listed on the agenda, plus there is a $100 administrative fee. And so we'll entertain a motion on those default orders, those cases.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we enter a default final order on the items on the agenda from 8B to 8,
Aye.
I, with the fine listed as the amount set forth in the agenda plus a $100 administrative fee for each one.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and probably second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And then we have agenda item J, which is authorization to tow a vehicle. Mr. West, you want to tell us about this case?
Yes, sir. So I'm going to ask that we table this until the next meeting. There is a letter of towing or of abatement that we are supposed to send with the second citation, and I did not do that in this particular instance. So to give the property owner, I'm guessing his due diligence, I would like to send that letter letting them know that we will tow that vehicle if it's still there. And then at that time, if it's still there during the next code enforcement board meeting, I will have a presentation ready for you guys asking for your permission to tow it.
Okay, all right.
I don't think any action is necessary. It's just note for the record that it's been withdrawn, subject to renotice. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So that's going to be withdrawn for now, subject to notice. Okay, all right. Next item, announcements from board members or from the staff.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a concern that I would like to voice, if I may.
Yes.
The amount of neglected properties in Hopkinsville is a real concern to me, whether it's structure-wise or grass or storm debris. I know we've had a lot of rain, and I know we've had a lot of storms, but it's our responsibility to take care of our property, and I don't know what the answer is, but it seems like to me, driving around, riding around, it's only getting worse, and it's a big concern to me, and especially to this board.
Yeah. Personally, as a chairman, I've noticed a lot of the same thing. I drive around and I see, wow, that house is falling in on itself. And I'm not sure if people aren't complaining. There is a lack of staffing with the fire department, our code officers. I'm not sure what the answer is either, but I've noticed a lot like what you've noticed. I don't know any other board members are aware, or if there are any things in the works to address some of the properties. Some neighborhoods are a little worse than others, I will say that.
Yes, sir.
Some parts of town, almost every other house, it looks like it could be a candidate for an unsafe structure.
again, I know we've had a lot of rain, a lot of storms, and I'm sure the city is short-staffed, and I get that. But at some point in time, it's gonna get so out of control that I don't know what you do at that point.
Yeah, I don't need, anybody got any suggestions, or anything we want to maybe ask our city attorney to take to the mayor, or?
Doug, how do we look on our foreclosure list as far as the people that are on here? I know it's probably a mile long, but
It is, and I will tell you, in this last budget, the mayor and council appropriated more funds for that very problem of trying to get these vacant properties back into productive use. So that's something that's in the works. It's just, it takes a while to get all that done. But I can tell you, the administration and city council share your concern.
So one question I have, Mr. Willens, so like on, let me get back to it, I'm sorry. So section 8G, it says on their third offense or more neglected. So am I correct that once you get to December, those people start all over in January with the fines that they get?
We changed that.
We started this year, once you get that third offense and you're neglected, you start, it don't matter, your third offense from here on out.
Your third offense from there on out. So it's the maximum fine no matter what.
That was a recent change this year.
So what's the chances of raising that maximum fine to try to get their attention?
Personally, I'm not so sure it's the fine, because a lot of these properties, the liens that are already assessed against the property, it's more than the property's worth. And a lot of these, we've got vacant lots is the main culprit for grass, trash, and weeds. And then on a lot of the unsafe structures, the abatement costs that the city's going to incur, we're going to have that lien on a vacant lot. So we found that that's not really the answer, because they're going to ignore it anyway.
So at what point is enough, and what's the next step, I guess?
Well, I think the next step is what the mayor and council is already doing, and that's throwing more money at the problem to have more foreclosures, to get these properties back in productive use for redevelopment, which is happening. But it's going to take a while, because you've got to go through the court system. As I'm sure Mr. Bruce can attest to, it just takes a while, especially when you've got hundreds and hundreds of these properties to go for. So,
And that's another concern of mine. Those properties didn't get in that shape overnight, and eventually it's just going to broaden everywhere.
But an effort's being made, so I'll be glad to report back on that as the board wants.
Thank you.
I'm not sure who would be able to answer this question. The Lot Next Door program that we've got going, it's a good program. It's working. I see some properties that have been taken over by the neighbors. Is it that ran by CDS? Is that right? Who runs that program?
No, that's the city.
The city runs that
Yes.
program. I wonder if a recommendation could be made to whoever's running that program, if they'll go in, when they see lots on this list, if they can reach out to the neighbors and maybe even send them a letter saying, hey, here's the Lot Next Door program. Would you be interested in having that property? Here's what you need to do.
I think they've started doing that.
They started doing that.
Because
Okay,
once
perfect.
there are decisions made by this board, then it automatically goes to finance, and they'll see the properties that are affected, put another lien on a property that's already got a lot of liens, and if it's a candidate, then they will go ahead and reach out.
Cool. Last, I'll make one more comment, and then I'll end up. I would like to thank the code enforcement staff, you guys and ladies. Lynn, y'all are doing a tremendous job. I drove by 7th Street and 9th Street and saw 2 properties that we abated, and it just makes that street, the calls have left for that property, and it's amazing the work that you guys are doing. Just keep doing what you're doing, because it's working, and we appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Any further comments from board members or staff? Okay, none, we will stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.